Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
Good evening, everybody. It is a Sunday night, and you are with the Insiders for our Between the Ropes show. So, of course, this is the show we do on Sundays, which wraps up all the news, events, and big stories of the previous week in pro wrestling. So welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. I know it's been a rainy one up here. We've been through, and I know a lot of the United States, the eastern half of the United States anyway, has been through a tropical storm. So a lot of people had flooding going on, coastal areas, and a lot of people had a lot of rain. So hopefully if you're in any of those areas, you're doing well. Hope you're all doing well in general, and hope you had a fun week of wrestling. Jeff, we've got a lot to talk about. There's been a ton of news this week, which we're going to all get into at some point. And so what's going on, man? Good to be here again on a Sunday.
Yeah. Good to be here on a Sunday. Really enjoy doing this show. There is a lot to talk about. And a lot of place for us to share our opinions, which I'm looking forward to this evening.
Yes.
So I'm ready.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to do this because we can get our views out there about the stuff that happened. And again, there was a lot of things going on. There's going to be some breaking stuff I'll talk about in a little bit too. So before we do, let's get to what we've got coming up. So after today, of course, for myself and Jeff, we've got Impact on Thursday night, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are now on the move to Bound for Glory. We just got done with the Impact 1000 celebration, which was absolutely amazing. If you're not watching it, or if you didn't watch it, it is just historic stuff. You got to see people that, excuse me, you haven't seen in, the reunited Bully Ray and Devon, the Dudleys. We got to see Gail Kim in the ring. You got to see Awesome Kong in the ring. Just so many people there, and such a wonderful 2 nights. And you can watch it. Go and check it out. It's just if you're a wrestling fan, it's just awesome to watch. So we have Impact coming up this week at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeff has a message for you as well about what's coming up also. So Jeff, go ahead, take it away.
Yeah. So Tuesday this week, it'll be Tuesday. We have a special episode of Abby's where we're going to unveil some changes, some new things. So come check it out. You can hear all about what we're looking to do with that, and going forward. So some exciting changes and things that are going to be pretty cool.
Awesome. There you go. So make sure to join at the same time, 6 o'clock
Same
usual.
time, 6 o'clock. Yep.
Okay. So 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Make sure you join the guys. We know we've been getting a lot of you questioning about what's going on. And Jeff and Jody will be there on Tuesday to let you all know what is next for that show. So make sure to join them. I think that's about it. It's kind of a light week, I guess, overall. And then obviously next Sunday, we'll be right back here to do another round of Between the Ropes. Okay, so let me welcome some people in. We'll get started here with our breaking news. Brandon Wayne Lewis, Derek is here. Pray for, oh my God, giving up 70 points in a football game. That was unbelievable. 70 points. I was shocked when I saw that. They had 35 at half, and I'm like, all right, they're going to let up off the gas. Maybe they'll get 49. They might score a couple. Nope. I looked at the final score and saw 70. I'm like, oh my God.
They just kept going.
They were just even. Their backup quarterback, Mike White, came in, who used to play for the Cowboys. He came in, he threw a touchdown pass. I mean, they just laid it on.
All I'm going to say is good luck AFC East, because my goodness, if you get into a track meet with Miami, you might not have firepower.
Yeah, man. Like even Buffalo and their vaunted defense, like they're going to be like, they're probably the only team in that division that can possibly slow them down or themselves. The thing with Tua is he does get injured a lot. So, they have to keep him healthy. Otherwise, the whole thing's out the window. So, but yeah, that was something to see. Anthony Slade is here. Hello, Anthony. And Anthony, of course, is a member of our channel. Thank you for being a member. We appreciate that. Anthony says, hey, yo. Dylan is here. We've got Brandon Davey, Brandon Salmon are both here. Swack Fan is here as well. AFC East is going to be wide. I don't know about wide open. It looks like that's Miami's division. I mean, the Jets are awful. Buffalo's kind of, if you just they're so talented, but you just never know with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is going to burn you with bad interceptions. And he can get away with that against bad teams, but not necessarily good ones. In New England is kind of their defense is okay. Their offense isn't great. So I don't know. That's Miami's division. I think to run away with if they continue to play the way they are.
Out of respect for the Bills, I'll say it's a 2-horse race, but I'm leaning more towards the Dolphins at this point. Provided that they can stay relatively healthy throughout the season. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, can you imagine if they flirted with the old 72 Dolphins record?
Oh man, I know.
How ironic would that be, as if after all these years that no team ever went undefeated, and one team, the Patriots, made it and lost. I mean, can you imagine if the Dolphins would come back and do that, like after all these years, and their poor fans like going through hell from that. I mean, they're I know some people that are Dolphins fans. They've been suffering for a while.
For a long while.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Derek's talking about the Cowboys. Yes, the Cowboys lost, Derek. And what's up with Dak? Why are you eyeing Dak? Yeah, he threw a pick today. They were just a mess. And I said this. They lost Trayvon Diggs. When you lose a player like that, it's just going to go through your whole team. And you can see the Cardinals picked on the other corner who was playing in the position of where Trayvon would be. And that's what these teams are going to do. They have to be able to overcome that. And their defense just was extremely flat. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't, Micah didn't look like himself. And it just, I guess, affected them. And their offense, Mike McCarthy gives me no confidence that he can ever do anything when they're not ahead of a bad team. So, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? That injury is going to hurt them, though. I mean, they may have been on the level with Philly and San Fran. They're not anymore. they're down below that level. So they're going to really have to play a tough. We'll see in like 2 weeks. I think the Cowboys play the 49ers. So it'll be interesting to see. But those are the two teams in the NFC to beat at this point. Let the fishes flap. I am a Dolphins fan. Well, there you go, DRO. Celebrate.
Celebrate. Yeah,
Just make sure that
enjoy
you
it.
keep their quarterback on his feet. That's a big because he you don't want him getting any more concussions because
Mm-mm.
that is not good. Not good. Watch the NASCAR Texas playoff race today too. So Brandon can't believe the 85 Bears only loss was against the Dolphins, who are still the only Super Bowl. Yeah, they are. It's crazy. Record that may never fall. It's very hard to do. Very hard, especially now when the Dolphins won it. They weren't playing as many games. Now they're playing even more. So it's very very difficult to do. All right, so let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over our breaking news at the beginning
Yeah,
of our show.
yeah. I know
There
we
we
got a
go.
lot of breaking news to cover.
We do. Two of them a little bit unfortunate if you're an Impact fan because true people now. This always pops up around this time of the year. I think their contracts run through a lot of times through Bound for Glory, and two big names are up. Their contracts are up. One of them it has not negotiated at all to come back, and it's a surprising name. It's Sammy Callahan. I really would never have thought that that would be the case because he has been a spokesman for Impact Wrestling for a long, long time. And I really, but what are you going to, these negotiations happen. And, if they want a little bit more than they think they are going to get, then they don't get it. Then they start to look elsewhere. And people are already rumoring, he's a good friend of Moxley,
Yep.
which could, if AEW is interested, he could end up joining AEW possibly. But Sammy was a surprise for me, and hopefully, I mean, the talks aren't ended, obviously, but his contract is up. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll miss him. I really love Sammy Callahan, and the other name is PCO. That his contract is also coming to an end. And I was telling Jeff about a fun little thing with that. I would love to see, and I don't know if this is going to be the case or if not, but PCO, imagine if we all know the people that have been watching Impact know that Bully Ray was trying to turn him into himself, basically, get him away from the PCO moniker and character. And what would happen maybe if the PCO character went away but maybe he would sign with Impact under his actual name. So I thought that was kind of a cool little thing. But I mean, obviously that's not happening right now. But they still may be in negotiations with PCO. That one we don't know. But Sammy, they apparently are not. At least that's what's out there. So two big names on the Impact scene that we could be losing, and that's it sucks whenever that happens. They do their best to bring in new people, and I'm sure they still will. There's going to be a lot of free agents on the market, which we'll get to. That you can fantasy book all you want, but I'm sure there will be some that will probably come to Impact. So you lose some, and then you gain some back, and I'm sure that's what we'll see there. But what did you think of those, Jeff? I didn't know about them until I saw them the last couple days. Sammy was a bit surprising to me.
Yeah, the Sammy one really surprised me because he's really been one of the cornerstones
Yeah.
of Impact Wrestling. And I mean, you think about Impact and some of the key players aside from your originals like AJ Styles and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah.
You start thinking about the Impact era and you think about Eddie Edwards, you think about Sammy Callahan.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean that's surprising. Hopefully they can get something done. But honestly, if he's going to make a jump, maybe this is the time in his career to do it.
Right.
And he is good friends with Moxley. So I mean that is a possibility. I'm not saying it's a definite, but it's definitely a possibility. And PCO, I wonder if this is it for PCO.
I thought that maybe too.
No, and I think based on his style, when you're a man of his age and taking bumps the way that he takes bumps from the heights that he takes those bumps, it's going to accelerate things for you. So this may be the end for him. And I would, we were talking about that I would like to see them factor that storyline back into how they end up wrapping things up with him.
Mm.
He ends up leaving.
Yeah, that would be a good idea too. I mean, maybe they will have him lose the PCO if he is truly going to retire. Maybe something factors in where he loses that PCO identity prior to going. But either way, a true legend of the business. He is, the fact that he's been doing, like Jeff just said, what he's been doing for as long as he's done it is truly remarkable. Some of the things that he does out there now, and you got to remember too, guys, to go through the process of that face paint and stuff like that he gets put on all the time, that is not easy. That's like makeup level stuff for actors and things like that. That is probably a good couple hour process that he goes through to do that. So that's not easy either. And it's a lot. It's a lot for anyone to really handle. So yeah, we'll see, I guess, what happens with him. And, the only thing we can hope for is that, and I know either way, if he does decide to go, Impact, I'm sure will have a wonderful way that he will be written off of TV. They tend to be really, really good at doing that stuff. So I'm sure they will respect what he's done for them, and they'll give him a really good send off. So, and I guess, Jeff, we got to transition into our biggest story of the week.
Yeah. We'll get to that story. We've had another round of WWE releases.
We have. Yes, we have. Kind of unexpected. I really, the last time we went through this, we were pretty much aware of when it was happening. They kind of warned everybody that it was coming. And so we were kind of watching to see when it happened. This one was right out of left field. I mean, even the dirt sheets didn't know. The dirt sheets didn't even know. They were predicting there would be no releases, and even they had no clue, I don't think, that this was coming. And then all of a sudden the names started to pour in. And the way we found out was a lot of the wrestlers got the call, obviously, and then they put out on their social media that they were not going to be, or they were no longer employed by WWE. And I think the first one that I saw was from Emma, that's very sad, because they had announced that they were going to be in Perth, which is Emma's hometown. And then Emma posted online saying that, well, this is the thing. And then right below it, she posted, but unfortunately, I'm no longer with WWE, which is kind of sad. She can't get to perform in front of her hometown in Perth. So kind of sucked. And then you saw Mustafa Ali, I think, shortly after Emma, or it could have been a little bit shortly before, but Mustafa said he was no longer part of WWE, which was kind of surprising as well, because he's in a match. He was in a pay-per-view match coming up, which was a little shocking to see. He got taken right out of that pay-per-view match. Now there's what you would figure. After this goes down, there's a lot of things going around, and now they're starting to get some steam to the fact, saying that WWE, there's somebody with WWE, and who knows if this is true. I'm not saying it is, but it's out there saying that someone didn't like the promo that he did recently on NXT, and it may have gotten him in hot water. I don't know if that's true. I have no clue. I have no clue that there's any confirmation for that, but that's unfortunate. She lives in Melbourne. Well, at DRO, they did not say, that's not what they said on some various other outlets. They said, in fact, I think WWE or somebody that was talking about the releases said that maybe she lived in Perth at some point in one time. I don't know, but that's not what they were saying. So, but yeah, Mustafa's gone. Other big names, I think, were Elias. Elias was a bit of a shocker. I know he was off TV for a little while, as a lot of these people were. But Elias just always seemed like he just kind of did whatever they wanted him to do. He did the character with the guitar. Then, of course, he pretended to be his brother, and that was kind of funny. And, so he was a bit surprising. Dolph Ziggler. Dude, me and Jeff have talked about this guy multiple times on this show. Multiple times. This man just did everything they asked him to do. He, a countless number of huge matches, putting people over, titles of his own. He was just that kind of a guy that they could just expect anything from. he could just, he not going to argue with you. He will just do whatever you want to do, give you 110% every time he goes out there. And just a shame. Now I did hear some good news with that. Tommy Dreamer, who said he's pretty good friends with Dolph, said that Dolph is doing comedy. He said he goes to clubs and he does comedy. And Tommy said that he thinks that he may focus on his comedy. He said he really loves and enjoys doing it. So maybe that's what he's going to do. Or some people are saying maybe he'll join his brother in AEW if they want him over there. And maybe that's how he'll wrap up his career, get to wrestle with his brother for a little bit to end his career. And I guess really then came the following day, right? Really, when it kind of seemed like it calmed down, and then we got a bombshell, which of course was Matt Riddle. That came well after, and some people are saying that this was a long time coming. He did have some issues. We all know the stuff he went through with NXT and how he was off TV for a while down there because of this whole allegations against him. Then he had this incident in an airport where apparently he was asked to deplane and he would not. And then he accused a New York City, I think, police officer of sexual harassment, something like that. And ever since then, he was not on TV. So I imagine that it could have been just a thing where WWE or, hey, you got to look at it from this standpoint too, Jeff, and I'm sure you'll touch on this. This is Endeavor's thing now, guys. This is Endeavor's thing. So they may have wanted to finish this and be done with it. And kind of say, okay, enough's enough. We don't know what's going on here, but maybe they looked into it a little bit and they thought, nope, we're not dealing with this anymore. Yeah, I mean, and the thing, I did a quick little video about it the other day, and the thing that I say about this is, you got to remember that these people are indeed people. They're not these superstars that are just up on a pedestal above everybody. They are people. And when they lose their jobs, it is a horrible thing. You don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. You don't know how you're going to support your family. And so it's horrible for them. It's horrible to go through. And that's what you have to remember. Not necessarily right away be fantasy booking, saying, oh, they're going to go here. And this company will pick them up. Look, first of all, they're on 90-day no compete. All of them are. So they're not going anywhere for 90 days. Now, I'm assuming they'll get paid and stuff for those 90 days. But, right now, they're not really thinking of that. They're thinking to, hopefully I can go somewhere. But, some may get picked up. Some may not. And, yeah, it's tough when you see this happen. And I know there were some other names out there from NXT. I know Top Dollar was kind of shocking that he was let go. And, up and down the list, Aaliyah, not really surprised with her. We haven't seen her, right? Like some of these guys you just have not seen. Shanky was released. You haven't seen him in ages. Like some of them just haven't been on TV at all. So with them, you're not maybe as surprised about it, but still, it was a long list. It was a lot of people whose livelihoods were taken away. And Jeff, no matter which way you look at it, man, it is difficult. And for them, it sucks. A lot of them, this is their dream, dude. And yeah, they can go somewhere else. But look, WWE is considered a plateau. It's the big thing. And when you lose a dream, hard to come back from that.
Yeah, and I think, there are a few things here that people, I think, fail to realize when things like this happen. You have to take into consideration if that person still wants to do this.
Yeah.
We've all heard stories about WWE's creative process, their creative control, and how that may zap some of the creative juices out of the talent, and certain decisions don't make sense. And maybe they're at a place where they're like, you know what, maybe let me take a year, or let me take 6 months, or however long,
Yep.
to just focus on me.
Yeah.
I think, it's easy to sit here and say, oh man, I'd love to see Top Dollar in Impact or AEW. I mean, I would at some point if that's what he wants to do.
Right.
But let it breathe a little bit. I mean, I've seen a little bit. I've tried to stay off of social media for other reasons, but I've seen some of his tweets and different things, and I mean, he's hurting, I think, and he has every right to share his frustration with how he's feeling right now and how things were done with his career.
Yep.
And I mean, this is a person that honestly has played. He played in the NFL, and some would still argue that the WWE is still the top of the mountain when it comes to professional wrestling. So he's been in those big arenas before. So maybe he wants to take some time away and focus on his music career because he's a very talented rapper. So that's a lane that he could go in. I think the one for me, other than Dolph Ziggler, that really just shocked me was Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton too. Yeah.
That was the one that really took me by surprise because you want to talk about a guy that has been the consummate professional that's just done whatever they've asked him to do. And I feel like there have been times where he definitely should have been world champion at some point. He should have had some other championship runs. But he never got that opportunity for whatever reason. And I won't go there right now, but it that one really bothered me, especially on a day where they announced some of the things in terms of revenue and stocks and different deals and that kind of thing. I mean, it's just tone deaf isn't even the correct phrase for it.
The 1.4 billion. Yeah, a lot of people were quoting that. Look at this. You made 1.4 billion and then you just dropped a whole bunch of people. Yeah, it's and in that respect, it's like I said, it's not ever good to. I hate reporting on this stuff. I don't like. That's why the video I did, we didn't put a thumbnail on it. We're obviously not monetizing that. I don't. I'm not going to advertise and gain off of somebody's loss. I would never want to do that. And anybody who does is pretty scummy. But listen to this Dolph Ziggler stuff, dude. This is from a poster. 19 years in the business. 1,554 TV matches for the WWE, third most in WWE history. Two-time World Heavyweight Champ, one-time NXT Champ, six-time Intercontinental Champ, two times US Champ, four-time Tag Team Champ, one Money in the Bank winner, 2012. That's Hall of Fame numbers, Jeff. It's that's Hall of Fame, and I hope he gets in. Because he should. He really, really should. And whatever he wants to do, however he wants to do it. And this goes for any of them. And like I said, now that, pretty much the day after, hours after the fantasy booking started, Riddick Moss and, maybe Riddick Moss and Emma will go back to Impact together. Maybe, listen, I love Tennille. Tennille Dashwood was amazing. When she was with Impact, and she certainly would be welcome back. But like Jeff said, you lose a dream, and sometimes you're like, yeah, you know what? Nah, I'm kind of done. I want to move on to something else, and do something else. Love Matt Cardona's post as well, talking to all these guys and saying, hey, life doesn't end here. You can make, if you want to stay in this business, and that's what he prefaced it by, then there are ways you can do that. And you can promote yourself. And he certainly would know. He's done a fantastic job with that. So there is, there are other means. And that's why I said it's good that there is other places to go. It's good there's an AEW. It's good there's an Impact. It's good there is a MLW and ROH and indies that are out there. It's good. Because then some of these people can continue if that's really what they want to do. There are places for them to go. I was listening to Busted Open talking to somebody said that Elias would be a perfect fit with NWA. Yep. And that I totally agree with that. Guy coming in playing a guitar. Hey, their owner, he's a musician. He's a musician. Can you imagine him smacking Billy Corgan with a guitar? I mean, it pretty much writes itself. But there are people who will indeed fit in other places, and I'm sure that if they want to continue doing that, they certainly could. So, but yeah, it was a sad day. Hate to see it happen. Names released in NXT as well, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. Never a good time for anything like that to happen, and we wish obviously our best to all of them in whatever it is that they choose to go forward and do, whether it be wrestling or not. So yeah, that was the big story. Have you all heard in wrestling news? Dolph has signed a deal with AEW. No, I did not hear that. They can't. Little Silver, he can't. He is under a 90-day no compete. They cannot sign anywhere. So whatever they said and they signed, it's not true. They can't. They're not allowed to. Tennille was great in TNA, especially how the show was last year. She was a lot like old TNA. They really did a great job. And yeah, I would love to see her back. I loved her. And I never really thought they used her very well. She had that great match with Ronda Rousey right off the bat, which she looked tremendous. And I thought, oh man, they're really gonna do things with her. And then they just really never did. So DRO, we'll get there. That question. Pin that. We'll get there. We'll get to that because we have some topics of that nature coming up. All right, so we'll move on from the sad stuff, and we'll get to our next topic, Jeff. So what have we got? What have we got up next here?
So sticking on WWE, SmackDown is headed back to USA.
Yeah, so this came out. We all knew that these TV deals are being negotiated. We all knew that they were looking for different avenues. And again, with the Endeavor move, these things are happening right under our noses now. And so SmackDown is now going to USA Network. So they are leaving Fox, going to USA. And the other part of that is that the NBC, now this is regular old NBC, is going to get 4 productions, 4 shows throughout the course of a year. I think that's tremendous. And remember NBC Saturday night's main event, folks? Remember watching those? They were amazing. Some of my favorite shows ever on TV was right up my alley because they would come on at 11 o'clock at night, go to midnight. Oh, loved it. Loved that show. And if they're going to do something like that, that would be absolutely tremendous. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think that's going to be amazing. Now, the other kicker to this is that, okay, well, does that mean that Raw is going to be with that too? No. Raw is not apparently staying with USA. So Raw and NXT are going to have to find a home. There are rumors again, and this is all rumor because they're in negotiation. We're not going to know who is going to get them, but the rumors are the big names are Disney and Amazon for Raw and NXT. Disney is an interesting choice, and that's because they own ESPN. I would think, Jeff, that NXT would be brilliant on ESPN. It would legitimize it as a sport as well instead of just a wrestling show. Also, since it's considered a development league, I think that would be amazing on ESPN or even ESPN2. ESPN2 is a little harder for people to get, so I would think, but having that on a network like that, I think would be awesome. But the down part to this you have to think about is are we going to get charged for pay-per-views, which could very well happen, guys. So get prepared because if you don't now, if you have the networks, so if you're paying for the networks, I would imagine, wouldn't get charged. Now, AEW supposedly finally coming through with something with Max. That's going to have their pay-per-views as well, so that would include that. But be prepared because we don't know how this is going to work, and they may, listen, Endeavor charges for UFC, right? If they decide they want to go that route, they can, so just be prepared because it may very well happen. But that is all up in the air. This thing with SmackDown doesn't start until next October. So October of 2024 is when this kicks in. But either way, it's big news. USA is keeping. Now, I think, Jeff, that behind the scenes, the reason they did this is because they also have all their stuff still on Peacock. And Peacock is owned by NBC, who also owns USA. So I kind of think they had to do this if they wanted to keep the relationship going with Peacock. And that was, I think, part of the reason why they gave them SmackDown. So no more WWE on Fox. SmackDown is going to USA. The other thing is, people are also saying, is it going to be a 2-hour show? We don't know. They could go to 3. Which I think would maybe not be a great thing, but they could very well go to 3 hours. So we'll see. But Jeff, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all this? It's a lot of stuff up in the air, except for the fact that we know that SmackDown is no longer on Fox and will be on USA, and we'll get those 4 extra shows on NBC.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, given that there's a bit of a conundrum, we'll say, with Raw and NXT. C Wrestling here. What's up, C? Thank you
Hey,
for
see,
joining us. Saying streaming services will kill Raw slash NXT. If you remove it from TV, wrestling fans will follow. But when you have drop off and less people watch equals less ticket sales, equals less merch, etc. I agree. Um, Unfortunately, I'm gonna be one of those people that thinks it ends up on Amazon because I think Amazon will write the biggest check. Um, because I think ultimately that's what this is all about. It's not about the wrestling fans. It's not about access to it. It's about the almighty dollar. That's what it comes down to. Uh, these places, and I think Barry Monkey said this earlier, and this is the ugly side of these things that we never want to admit or be okay with as fans, but these are businesses,
yep,
and ultimately they're going to do what's best for their bottom line, um, even if that goes against what's best for the fan. um, I think that's just the unfortunate place where we are. They put out these products. They feel like, hey, we got to meet a certain profit margin. If we lose a few fans along the way, that's fine. But as long as we gain this few extra hundreds of millions of dollars doing it this way, then we're justified. So I just feel like it's going to end up on Amazon. There are some decent things that you could do with that. Um, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them, if they do go that route, if Amazon ends up somehow a partner in doing the pay-per-views. That wouldn't surprise me because Amazon's been doing a lot, especially with the live sports stuff. Having the NFL on there on Thursday nights is
yeah, yep,
huge.
yep, yep.
That's a huge thing. So I mean, they have the infrastructure to do it. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, they could work it into their Prime memberships too. If you, let's say you get Amazon Prime, they're always, you guys know, you order from Amazon, what's the first thing they put on there? Are you going to get Prime? You get free shipping, you get this, you get that. They could incorporate that with Amazon Prime. So you subscribe to Amazon Prime, you get Amazon, the Amazon network, basically. So you get Prime, where you'll get the NFL and you'll get this, but now you'll also get WWE as well. That's big. That is big. So yes, you will have to subscribe, but you're going to get all these other perks as well. So yeah, listen, it's unfortunate.
yeah,
Who's going to get left behind here are the people that are still watching cable TV.
yeah,
But look, it's like anything else. It's becoming a dinosaur. It's becoming a thing of the past. People don't have a cable as much anymore. They don't pay for cable as much anymore. When you could just pick and choose your apps, and so many of these apps now, like I have YouTube TV, so many of them have everything that cable had and more.
and more.
So and for less, some of these
Yep.
apps are cheap. Peacock is only $5. You get all that stuff on there. Like at Paramount's like $8. You get, so all of the things that these streaming services are offering you is almost better than what you're getting with cable. So who's going to suffer are going to be these cable companies. Now some of them like Xfinity and stuff like that around here have internet with it. So they package the internet with the cable, but these people are going to start dropping cable and just get the internet from these companies. So they're not going to lose out a ton, but I think it's the people, that are wanting to just keep the cable and be able to watch it on the USA Network, be able to watch it on Fox. That's just not going to happen anymore, unfortunately. I mean, for them, they'll still be able to see the SmackDown stuff on USA. They'll get those 4 specials on NBC, which NBC you can still get NBC off of an antenna. You can buy an antenna and still receive NBC for free. So you'll get that too. But yeah, it just seems like Jeff said, it unfortunately it is about money. Any of these transactions are about money, and whether it's good for fans, most cases, they're gonna pick and choose. They have people way higher up the ladder that think of all these things and set all this stuff. They are looking at numbers. So who's our demographic? They're the ones that, remember, you guys are always talking about, okay, the demos. They're the ones that are looking at demographics. They're the ones that are like, okay, who watches our shows? What age group are watching our shows from, let's say, from 9 to 10 on Raw, from 10, from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10, from 10 to 11. What are our age groups? Who watches these shows? If they're people that are in their 20s, let's say, teens, 20s, maybe early 30s are the demos that most people watch, they're the people that are getting these streaming services. My age group is not going to be considered in a demo group. It's just not. They're not looking at 50-year-old men watching wrestling and saying, oh, man, he's not going to be happy when we pull the plug on his cable that he can't watch anymore. They just don't care. They want to go with the people that are doing the newer things. So, we're just going to have to wait and see. I hope that whoever they decide to be with, whether it is Amazon, whether it is Disney, hopefully they incorporate that into a package deal where if you subscribe to Disney Channel for the $8 a month, hopefully they will include the WWE and they will include the WWE pay-per-views and not start charging again where it's $29 or $39 or $50 for whatever pay-per-view is, because we all see what that does with the AEW fans at Bleacher Report, and they want $65 or $70 per show. We all see what that does. That's hard on the wallet. So we'll see how it goes. 50, the other two plus the other 200. Tomorrow, I will be 251. My birthday is actually tomorrow. So
that's right.
Yes. So I'll be 251 tomorrow. But yeah. So we're just gonna have to. This is just a kind of a wait and see thing. Big news. And we'll just we'll watch for news as it goes. But your primary people that are in bidding are again are Amazon and Disney, and then there's a couple other names floating around out there too. So we'll see. We'll just wait and see how it goes. All right, Jeff. I think we may have another topic coming up that's kind of related to the whole Endeavor thing.
Yeah, we got to bring up this ridiculously mustachioed fella by the name of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Oh boy.
But here we go.
Dude.
I found this one. I was like, I want to find the most ridiculous picture.
God.
He looks like a cartoon. I mean,
he really does, doesn't he?
He looks like a cartoon. He looks like Dick Dastardly.
He does. Like if his mustache was a little longer and he could twirl the ends. Yeah. Oh my God.
he does look like Dick Dastardly a little bit.
Oh my gosh, he really does. He is the ultimate villain. He got Gomez is a good one. I like that. Yeah, he really does. He is the villain. Will he be forced out by Endeavor? They're not liking some of the things that that Mr. Dastardly gone through, and now there's a little bit of news out there saying that maybe they don't want him on the board at all either. So, oh boy. Not completely unexpected. Not completely unexpected. When a new company takes over an old company, this is the kind of thing that happens. They look at things as PR. You know, what does this do to our PR? What does this do to our reputation? And do we want this guy on the board? And if it looks like it's going to hurt them, then they're not going to have him on the board. Now, since this had since it obviously come out, Vince is recuperating from. I think he had. So there hasn't been too much out about it, but he had some kind of medical issues going on. I think a major surgery as well. But I guess he's okay. They were saying he was involved with some of the creative things that were happening on Raw a week or two ago. So I guess he's doing okay. But I don't know, man. I mean, is there a right answer with this? Listen, again, only people way higher than my pay grade are going to have the last say about that. Stockholders and the guys that are way up the ladder, sitting in some skyscraper somewhere, making the decisions about this kind of stuff are going to be the people who are going to make this decision. I guess the only thing I would say is it unwarranted? Probably not. Probably not. At least what we know are facts, right? And Jeff, I'm wondering myself, is this maybe some future proofing also in case some more things come out of the woodwork down the road? So that's maybe what I'm wondering. Or do they already know there may be some more things coming out soon about Mr. Dastardly?
I'm gonna say this. Not that I've ever been in a room where $1 billion check has been cut, but what I can say is this: if I'm the person writing that billion and billions and billions of dollars check, I'm doing my due diligence and I'm investigating everyone that's affiliated and associated with that company that I'm purchasing.
Yep.
So I know what's coming. And I don't take Endeavor to be a company that wouldn't do that.
No.
So and also, I didn't bring this up earlier when we discussed Matt Riddle, but I want people to remember Matt Riddle was a part of the UFC before he was a part of WWE.
He was.
And there are some clips out there discussing his tenure in UFC and his decision making when he was there. So don't think that 2 and 2 didn't equal what it needed to get him out of there.
Yep.
That might have been the writing on the wall.
Yep.
C saying, I still think Vince kicks out at 2. Like always, give it time. Somehow Vince is going to reveal his master plan and take over everything. Oh gosh, Vince.
To imagine him twirling the mustache. Ha ha ha! You thought I was out, but I'm right back in.
Oh gosh, that would be a very, very sad day.
Marvel should use him as a villain in one of their next superhero movies. I don't know who they can get him to play because he's older, but oh my god, because he would be like, could you imagine him being like a Thanos kind of a character in a Marvel movie? I would absolutely be insane.
Someone should just base if someone's coming out with a comic book,
oh my god,
and you need a villain.
Oh,
look no further than Vincent.
Oh
Vincent
my god, he is literally the perfect villain.
He is a villain,
and now he looks the part even more with the little cheesy mustache. So,
yeah.
Oh man, love it. C says, with all the hair and obvious work Vince has had done, you have to admire his determination to look younger now than in the Attitude Era. yeah, he really is, right? WWE releases here that I'm about less than 1% of those we get the AEW look, but the rest may be making it to impact on Thursday nights. If someone gets forced out, I'm going to be laughing for days. That would be the ultimate karma, says James Grant. Just like Anthem Sports when they took over Impact Wrestling, it was a falling out with Jeff Jarrett. I'm good going through a lot, moving to a new place, semi-independent place. Jason's talking to somebody. Hello, Jason, by the way. Do you think Vince is better off stepping aside? That's not going to happen. That won't happen. That's not going to happen. Nope.
There's a little thing called ego and pride.
A lot of thing called ego. Yes.
That won't allow him to have humility and do that.
Yes. There isn't a humble bone in that man's body. not one. Not one. I go back to, and I think I may have quoted this song. It must be stuck in my head, but I think I quoted it on an episode of Impact. There used to be a country song that had a lyric that went, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way," and that describes Mr. Dastardly to a T. So there's no way he's stepping down. No way. All right. Well, moving on from there, we're going to go to something completely on the opposite side of the scale. Jeff.
Yeah.
Massive return.
Yeah, this return, honestly, was absolutely tremendous.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The Rock returns to SmackDown.
What a show. I have not gotten chills watching a wrestling show for a long time. The fact that this dude, and a lot of people kind of expected it a little bit because he was on TV earlier in the day in the Denver area. And but so a lot of people but when his music hit, you go back and watch that reaction from that crowd. I have not heard a pop like that probably since when Cody showed up, and this one was way bigger. This dude, all these years later, can inspire a pop of excitement from a crowd like no one else. And man, oh man, listen, 153 million views of his return. It is very difficult to argue with the fact that this man is one of the greatest superstars to ever do this. And my God, can he bring a crowd? When he got the crowd into it and they're all chanting, and I was so pissed. I'm watching it on my local Fox. They're bleeping the damn thing out. Every time you got the chant going, you're asshole, they bleep it out every damn time. So I would hear a little bit of it, then beep, and a little bit beep, a little. I'm like, come on! I was so mad that they did it. But oh my, what a perfect thing, and a perfect guy to do it with, Austin Theory, who everybody absolutely hates. And then he gets out there and tells him, nobody cares what and gets back in Rock's face. Of course, Rock bottoms him. And then, of course, McAfee's out there too, who the fans all love as well. It was just an amazing thing to see. And now the rumors are back up there. Oh boy. Here's the thing, guys. The writer's strike, the actor's strike. Why do you all of a sudden think that we're seeing John Cena? We're seeing The Rock. They have nothing to do right now.
Rumors about Batista.
Yeah, they don't have stuff going on in Hollywood. And you know what they want to probably do? When they're getting ready for films, what do? They work out. They keep themselves in shape. Well, what better a place to go than maybe a wrestling ring? Get a little action in the gym. And I mean, we've seen Rock do stuff in the gym on the outside, but you can keep yourself going, do some stuff in a wrestling ring a little bit, get a little more, exercise, get a little more action in there. I thought it was tremendous. What a return, and how great it was to see The Rock. Where it goes, I don't know. I was thinking, could Rock be Cena's teammate against the Bloodline? But everybody's saying now it was supposed to be LA Knight, although we know LA Knight now is sick, under the weather. He was diagnosed with COVID, tested positive. So I don't know, Jeff. I don't think this is the last time we see him. I don't know if they may save it. But that whole thing they talked about with The Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, could very well, if the writer's strike continues, could very well possibly happen next WrestleMania in Philadelphia, which, oh my God, amazing. Would be absolutely amazing. But Jeff, this guy, it just incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he still captivates the audience, right? I
Yep.
mean, he's just tremendous, and not to use his catchphrases, but he's electrifying. I mean, that's just what he does. He electrifies the crowd, and
Yep.
hearing that pop, I mean, I'll be honest, that was the first time I that we've been able to see The Rock be live on TV, and I had my kids with me, and it was like such a special moment, and it was so cool, and they were saying, wow, the crowd's so loud. I was like, this is how it was all the time
Yep.
when this guy was in his prime. So
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, if you use this if you use this in a way where it makes sense, I think bringing people back like The Rock, John Cena, if Batista ends up coming back in at some point, that's cool too. Why not? I mean, why not give us some nostalgia? Because admittedly, I'm a little bit on shaky ground with WWE right now, just because of some of the recent changes and everything that's happened. So, I do want a little bit of that fan service selfishly, seeing some of the folks that we grew up with.
Yep.
So yeah, but it was good to see The Rock back. It really
Yeah.
was.
Oh, it was out. It was amazing to see him come back. And and again, I'm glad I didn't read much of the stuff online that day because, like I said, there were people who were kind of scoping it out a little bit, thinking, well, he's there, so he may very well show up. I didn't see any of that, so I was completely taken aback by it. I did not expect it to happen, and when he came down, man, I popped for sure. So, yeah, it was awesome. It was really awesome. Let's see if Impact can bring back superstars legendary. Why can't WWE? People talking about Randy Orton. Yeah, Randy Orton was seen by Jim, so it's cool that we saw him. I didn't read anything much online either. Yeah, I wasn't online, just didn't happen to be. So in that case, that was good because it was a complete surprise for me. All right, Jeff. We have another person to talk about who is moving places.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe on the move here. Jade Cargill reportedly signs with WWE. What in the world?
Yeah, man, she was such a big name in AEW for the longest time. She held that championship that she had for such a long time. Was doing almost kind of a Goldberg type of thing with her, where she was just undefeated for so long, and stuff like that. And just all of a sudden, was when she lost, gone from TV. Wasn't on the show, and then now the next thing you know, it is she maybe is on her way or has signed with WWE. Now, I don't know any details. I don't know if she's going to start in NXT. I don't know if she's going to go to the main roster. The one thing that I heard about her, and this was from Thunder Rosa, who was talking about her on Busted Open, saying that the one thing she did for herself that is important for wrestlers nowadays is stayed very, very relevant and active on social media.
Yeah.
And that is a good thing, when you're not getting anything from creative, instead of kind of bitching about it or whatever, and just kind of going and saying, well, I'm not going to do anything then. She went out and she made it known on social media of things that she was doing, and Thunder Rosa felt that was probably very important for her to do. So she got her name out there, and we'll see. I don't know. Thunder was saying because I think it was her and Tommy Dreamer. Tommy asked her, where do you think she will start? And Thunder had said that she thinks she's going to go right to the main roster. She doesn't think she's going to go to NXT first. So I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But Jeff, she's a phenomenal athlete. And wherever she's made for the business. She's absolutely made for wrestling. You could just see that she's got it. She's got the personality, perfect heel character actually too. And whether she chooses to play that or not, but she's definitely got it. And I could certainly see her wherever they start her. If it is in NXT, great. She'll be excellent there. And you can see some of the rivalries she may have down there. And if they choose to start her on the main roster, could you imagine? Could you imagine her in a match with Charlotte Flair? Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That would be, I mean, it's both of them so extremely athletic, would be absolutely amazing. Or I imagine her and Bianca in a match as well. Like, there are so many dream matches you can create with Jade. But yeah, this is exciting, Jeff, wherever they decide to start her.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw another name in there, Rhea Ripley.
Oh boy. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she honestly, I know a lot of people have they tend to forget what people have done. Um, and RK Shuttleworth brought this up with Cody. You've seen kind of the same thing. People downplaying what she meant to AEW and what she did in AEW. Just because they're going elsewhere doesn't mean that their contribution doesn't matter all of a sudden. Just because
Right.
they go to the rival doesn't mean that they become irrelevant or just didn't exist in your realm. Um, that's not fair to what they did, um, where they were. I think with Jade, would it be cool to see her start out in NXT? Maybe, but I just kind of feel like she's main roster ready. I feel like you can work her in, kind of have her be dominant. Have her be dominant
Yep.
right from the start. Again, I mean, why not? And build her up as a legitimate threat to your champions right away.
Yep.
And I mean, you talk about someone that could go up against Rhea, go up against, I mean, you name it, Charlotte, Raquel. I mean, you name the matchups, and it sells itself. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. No.
I'm excited to see her there. I mean, eh, that's a good Jaden Bianca. You want to talk about a tag team that could make your championships relevant?
Yeah.
Not saying that they're not now, but if you really want after this run, if you want to pair up that team and really make it like a benchmark, like, yeah, this is a legitimate tag team title, and we've got two alphas at the top of this. I mean, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And can you imagine, Jeff? Maybe they start her that way and they have her in a tag team with her, and then maybe she turns on Bianca at some point, which would be
yeah,
cool. You bring her in as a face and then have her turn would be a good storyline. Then the tag team partners split. She goes her own way and goes back to like a heel type character. So that'd be cool too. Yeah, there's
yeah.
so many different ways that you can do, or different storylines that you could do with her. She's just going to be amazing there. Let's see. C says Cody is the guy who trashed WWE and paved his way back. Jade is homegrown AEW. You treat her like a star. So all the other AEW originals use Jade's booking as a reference when considering their future. Yeah. Listen, we've talked about the women's divisions, and we've talked about how amazing it is, and we're going to segue into our next topic with this too. But we've talked about how amazing it was that Impact spotlighted their women on Impact 1000, led the show off, ended the show off, and their women's division is tremendous. And I think that where Jade came from to where she's going to be, I think is going to be different things. Listen, it's no secret. Do they have a ton of women's talent in AEW? They absolutely do. But do they spotlight them? Not so much. Like I said to Jeff on other shows that we've done, there are many times when you could time your clock to 9:15, 9:20 or so on a Wednesday night, and know that you are going to get a women's match at that particular time. They very seldom ever lead the shows off with them, and very seldom ever end the show with them as well. So to me, that is an issue. And it's something they've got to fix. They have tremendous talent there. Tremendous talent. So many amazing women wrestlers on there. I can't even start to name them. But they just have to figure that out. They've got to get women's wrestling is where it's at. It's huge. They've got to figure that out. And I think that when Jade comes to WWE, I think she's gonna shine. And so absolutely.
Joe, I gotta throw this in because this is a really interesting, and I like this pairing. Bonkers says, could you put Jade with Paul Heyman?
Oh my, okay. Give her that mouthpiece, kind of like we used to say that with Ronda Rousey when Ronda was around. Wow. Okay. I could certainly see that. That would be awesome.
Ooh, Christopher saying MVP.
MVP's no longer with WWE at the moment, but that would be awesome as well. Could you imagine if Lashley goes a little further with his with that faction he's developing with the Street Profits and starts bringing other people into that and brings in Jade as part of that new faction? That would be an amazing way to bring her in to a stable to kind of start it out. Oh, dude, yeah, there's just so many cool things you could do. So many cool things you could do. That's some great stuff. Thank you for the chat to putting out a lot of that stuff. That's awesome. Sonny Wolf joined. Hello, Sonny. How are you? Great stuff. Great stuff. MVP was at a house show last night when Cody got attacked by. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. I kind of thought he was gone from there, but maybe not. Maybe not. I saw that he was gone. See, I read something somewhere. Who knows? Maybe it was garbage. Could have been. But I thought he was out of WWE. But there you go. Obviously, he is not. So, no, you probably didn't miss something, but I probably read something that was wrong. But yeah, let's get to this. This is our last topic for the opener. The Impact 1000 show. I mentioned it earlier on. If you like nostalgia and if you like all that stuff from TNA and old school and things like that, this was just a tremendous show for everyone. A great opening with the women. Love to see it. You saw the beautiful people. You saw Awesome Kong. Of course, Mickey James returned for that. Tasha Steeles, and they really you could just see it. Gail Kim. That they are so proud of what their women do in Impact Wrestling, and they ended the show with that huge tag team match as well. So it was just great to see this because there aren't many companies that would do that, right? There are not many companies that would have an anniversary show and have it start off with their women, their Knockouts division, which I'm very, very, very proud of, and proud to be an Impact fan because of that. I think that is absolutely tremendous. The arena was wonderful, very well set up. It looked amazing. The feel of everything, all the nostalgia that we saw mixed in with some of the new things was absolutely tremendous. It was such a fun show. We didn't get to do the watch along for part one because we both were having some issues outside of the show, but we did get to do part two, and it was just so much fun to watch. And man, Impact Jeff is they're on the move, man. They are going to have a studio that's going to be completely redone. They may be going back to Pyro. They may be going back to it's going to be brand new show. Listen, the sky is the limit, I think, for them and where they're going. And man, oh man, Impact 1000 just brought back all the feels. Man, we saw Shark Boy. We saw, again, the Dudleys reunite, which was a wonderful moment for Devon to be there in front of his family after all that time gone away. Again, seeing Awesome Kong looked as amazing as ever, man. She was laying people out, which was fantastic. The beautiful people. As they were referring to it as the best entrance in all of wrestling. kind of forgot a little bit about their entrance, but yes, you all know what we're talking about. Oh my gosh, Jeff, it was just so good. It was a wonderful celebration show.
Yeah, yeah, it really was, and I think, and I've got to call myself out about this too, because you hear the comments from people online, oh, Impact Wrestling, that's still around, and you really watch that. Yes, and they have a great product, and um it's one of those things where, as they continue to improve production, as they continue to add in some different things to make it feel like a bigger show, um I think once those things fall into place, more eyes will go to the product. I really feel like that. Um, like this Yahoo in the chat. Um, it's like that's fine. We love it. We'll be one of the 60,000. We
Yep.
love it. We'll continue to be that. But honestly, I think us fans of Impact have wanted them to kind of rush the growth and the production things, but I actually like the way that they've done the growth instead.
Yep.
um that's I like the way that they've done this, because it's things that they can implement and they can handle. They've tested these things, they understand um how to work these things. Hopefully they've worked the bugs out, so when they hit the ground running with this stuff, it's seamless. So yeah, I'm excited about how they've grown, and I'm looking forward to the future for them, because I think it's very bright.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. I can't be prouder. Like I said, show, and it has literally become one of my favorite things to watch, week in and week out, and just so much stuff going on there, and where they're going, and who's up next for some of these wrestlers, and where it's going to go. I mean, we got the little peek of Mickey James looking up at that title, and I love her response on Twitter. She put down that, oh, somebody was a great. She's like, someone oh, I can't remember exactly what she said. I might have to look at it up. It was like
Is
a
that when
comment
you
about,
called out the social media team?
yes, the social media team,
Yeah,
yeah, like accentuated it and stuff like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was fantastic. Was Yeah, it's just awesome, man. It was awesome stuff, and I love that's one of the reasons why I love wrestling, because I love the nostalgia. Just like we talked about The Rock, that's nostalgia, and so I, yeah, absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to see what they've got coming up. Of course, they have Bound for Glory still left this year, so one big pay per view left, and then we'll see what happens going forward, starting in the new year with Impact. So just looking up. So again, just a quick little advertisement here. We do that every single Thursday. So we are here every single Thursday doing a watch along for Impact Wrestling and do all the pay per views. So if you are an Impact fan, come out and join us, because we'd be glad to have you with all of our awesome community that comes out and checks it out too. So, all righty, moving on, Jeff. I think it's time for everybody's favorite part of our show.
It is.
Yeah, it is time for the airing of grievances. Play the intro.
Airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about.
That makes me chuckle every time I hear that. Absolutely love it. So, yes, we are at our section of the airing of grievances, where we will talk about what kind of, what kind of lighted the fire a little bit this past week in wrestling. What got us a little upset over the course of the week, and
A
so
little
yes.
irritated.
Yeah, a
A little irritated.
little upset, and we're going to do that right now. So, Jeff, you're on for the first part this week. I know I started last week's show, so take it away, man. You start her off.
So my grievance will not be a long one, but it is related to the recent releases that we had in WWE. And these are unfortunate days. It's people that have lives outside of what we see on television. They're real people. They hurt, they feel just like the rest of us. When these people lose their jobs, they're trying to figure out how they're going to provide for their families. They're trying to figure out what's next because it not only affects them, but it affects their families. What I can tell you is that that's not the time for you to jump on your crusade to trot out your personal agenda about, oh, big bad WWE. Trust me, WWE does not need you talking about them poorly because they do a good enough job showing people how poorly they do things anyway. They don't need your bad PR. They have enough bad PR. It's not about the tribalism when it comes to these releases. It's not about any of that. It's about these people. And if you don't support these people any other time, and all of a sudden, because you see that they were released from WWE, that's when you start, oh, I can't believe so and so. I can't believe this. Were you really invested in the first place? Like, just be real with it. Like, it doesn't, you don't need to beat down anybody to lift somebody else up. That is, I mean, it's a sucky situation all the way around. We don't know why WWE or Endeavor, TKO, whatever we want to call them at this point, we don't know why they did it. I don't know that we will ever find out, but these people were affected. Give them a small amount of privacy and let them figure out what's next for them without tagging them in tweets to other companies and trying to fantasy book it right there on social media because that's something that serves you. It's not about you. So I just get really tired of people taking these stances when it comes to bad things happening in wrestling that all throughout the rest of the year there is crickets, but then all of a sudden if it involves a certain company, and listen, there are people that do it on the other side too, that do it with AEW. There are people that do it with Impact Wrestling. There are haters everywhere of everybody. So it's not just one set of people, but just don't be that person. I'm done.
Extremely well said. Yeah, and I can only back that up by saying that yes. Listen, I'm very, very, very tired and over of the saying negativity sells. I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of it to the point of where I would question the person's intelligence level who says stuff like that or who does stuff like that with that mentality, because you're the problem and you're a sick individual who thinks that you should be that way all of the time, no matter what is going on with anything in the world. You don't have to be that way, and that's not how the people are, and that's really not normal. So yeah, to take this and to make it about your stupid agenda of being a fan of one company over the other, that's a you problem. You are the problem, not the wrestlers, not anything else that's going on. You have to look at yourself and realize that I must have something going on where someone just pissed me off. I mean, were you a closet WWE fan at some point and somebody upset you? Whether, I don't know, they took a wrestler off the show that you didn't or you liked, or something happened like a result of a match that you didn't enjoy, and or maybe they got rid of someone that you liked off of their show. I don't know what it is, but you took that and then now all of a sudden you're a fan of another company, but you know what you are is you're technically still you're bitter because you can't be a WWE fan anymore, because if you do, you look stupid because you made a whole bunch of comments about it in a negative way, and so you can't go back to it because then all of your 10 friends that are on Twitter that look at your account will think that you're a hypocrite. So you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. And now you have to just be that guy that always makes comments about, well, but this, this sucks and this company would never do stuff like this. It's stupid. It's just stupid. Grow up. Seriously, just grow up. Get off the internet sometime. Take yourself away from the computer screen. Take yourself away from your phone for 5 minutes. Go outside, drink a cup of coffee, look at the birds in the sky, find something that gives you some ounce of positivity. And if it's not wrestling, for God's sake, man, watch something else. There is so much out there, so much ways to entertain yourself with video games, with other movies, TV shows. There must be something that will trigger some sort of positive light in your brain. So there, that's the way I would back this up. Jeff's thoughts in very many cases this week were kind of mine. So basically what I want to do with my part of this, and it kind of backs off of again of what or piggybacks kind of what Jeff is saying, but I'm going to read names here, and I'm going to read names of the people that we are talking about. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read them, and I'm going to just say thank you to all of them as one by one. Matt Riddle, Dolph Ziggler, Shelton Benjamin, Elias, Mustafa Ali, Emma, Riddick Moss, Aaliyah, Top Dollar, Rick Boogs, amazing when he was doing his stuff, right? Mace, Mansoor, Dana Brooke, Daba Kato. I remember him from the whole thing with Shane, right, in the underground. Shanky, Ikemen Jiro, Yulisa Leon, Quincy Elliott. Quincy, I remember from NXT. Amazing personality. Bryson Montana, Kevin Ventura Cortez, Daniel MacArthur, Alexis Gray, Brooklyn Barlow, Abdullah Abadi Fitzgerald. They are all the ones that were released, and they are all human beings. They are all probably very upset. They a lot of these people, yes, sure, some of the top names there, the Mustafa Ali's, the Dolph Zigglers, the ones that were kind of at the top there, they will probably continue in wrestling. They will move on, right? They will find that other company to go to. But some of those names, and maybe a majority or maybe more than half of those names, may never wrestle again in their entire life. It's pretty sad, right? Pretty sad. They have lost a dream. They have lost something that they've strived for many, many, many years. And so I want to thank them all. Thank you so much. And listen, guys, you know what? You want to do something positive on Twitter? Tag a wrestler and tell them thank you. Say thank you. Plain and simple. Say, if you're a fan of a wrestler, tag them in a post and say, hey, you know what? Thank you for doing what you do. Man, I'll tell you what. You at some point may get a response from that person, depending on who it is. I know a lot of the WWE people don't run their own social media. Some of them just can't. They don't have the time to do it. And so maybe that, but I can tell you, I got some answers like from stuff like that. My God, be nice. Just say thank you to these people. Don't fantasy book them. Don't say where they should go. Don't say, well, man, you should go to AEW. That's not about them. That's about you. That's about you. That's about where you want them to go, where you think they should go. And again, you look at the word you, and you is what? It's selfish. It's you. It's you and what you want, not what they want. So that's all I would tell you to do is one time, just go on Twitter. You like a wrestler, go out there and tag that wrestler and say, hey, you know what? I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for what you do to entertain me. to be on that screen every single week. And maybe when I'm having a bad day, I know that I'm going to see you on that show. And you know what? It's going to bring a smile to my face. Thank you so much for doing that. And you know what? If we all did it, the world would be a much better place. And social media would definitely be a much better place. I'm done. There you have it, guys. That is our airing of grievances for this week. So hope you all enjoyed that. And yeah, so it's a, and that's where we'll leave all of that stuff. But I hope we got the message across, and I hope you all, like I said, just take the time, just do that, just be civil, and just be nice, and just don't always think about yourself. That's all I'll say. So the really sad thing about the people who love one specific company, they don't. They're playing an internet persona, trying to ruin other people's enjoyment of it. Right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's you can do that stuff all you want to, but ultimately, where is it going to get you besides sitting in your computer chair or on your chair at home with your phone in your hand, feeling no more better about yourself than you did before you posted it? So it's a harsh reality, but sometimes you got to think about that kind of stuff. So, all right, we're moving on, Jeff. That is our airing of grievances segment. We do that every single show. Hope you enjoyed it. And we are headed to our next subject, which I believe is our sell or no sell segment. So play along in the chat. If you like something, you sell it. If you dislike it, you no sell it. It's pretty easy. So play along with us as we go through our 3 topics for this week's sell or no sell. Jeff, what is topic number 1?
All right. So topic number 1, we got to bring. Hold on. That wasn't my topic number 1, was it? I
That
don't
was the
want to talk
banner for
about
the
him.
subject.
I don't want to talk about him again yet. Let me bring this one back up here. So a little on the fly production here, folks. So
Hey, that's okay.
here we go.
There we
The
go.
Rock Roman encounter will happen before WrestleMania 40. Joe, sell or no sell?
I'll tell you, man, they have got a quality possible setup right from the get-go with what's going on with Cena. If indeed, and this is kind of why I thought that, before I read that it was supposed to be LA Knight, which of course I can't stand that because it was a spoiler and I wish that I wouldn't have seen it. But before I saw that, I would have thought that this would have been perfect, because if he showed up, right, and then he had that little thing in the back with John Cena where they kind of hugged it out in the back. If he had, I was really hoping he would have run down to the ring when Cena was getting beat up. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely perfect, because he could, but again, we don't know his schedule and stuff like that. So, but if he would have come down, the place would have exploded. And if he would have signed that contract and had that match with Cena against the Bloodline, perfect, because that would so upset and anger Roman Reigns that The Rock got involved against his bloodline. It would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect way to start that story. I don't probably to say they'll have an encounter before WrestleMania 40. Yes, I think I am going to sell it. Now, again, this is going to have a lot of things to depend upon. The big one is that writer strike and stuff like that, and whether or not, because The Rock is always doing something with movies. So if he has the availability, if he's going to be around at that point in time, then yes, I do think at some point they will have something. And who knows, maybe if it was Cena and LA Knight, and if LA Knight's still available to do that, and if that's what it's going to be, maybe The Rock shows up at a pay-per-view and maybe gets involved in some way, and that ticks off Roman, and that's where it starts. I don't know, but I think it would have just been a great built-in storyline. I'll sell it, because I do think if they're going to be able to do it, again, it's kind of with a little caveat there. If The Rock's able to do it, yes, I'm going to sell it, because I do think it'll happen before WrestleMania, Jeff.
There you go.
All right. Seller knows. What do you think, man?
Man, this is tough. because you have other factors at play. This writer's strike and the actor's strike.
Mhm.
Um, I have to imagine that if I think the longer this strike goes, the more opportunity I think we have for something to happen before WrestleMania.
Yep.
Um, because I do think I don't think that The Rock said what he said on College Game Day by accident.
Right.
I think he threw that out there like, "Hey, let's make this happen,"
Yep.
kind of deal.
Yep.
This is what the people want. So I think if we don't get maybe we get a match at WrestleMania 40, but I think we get them kind of running up against each other and starting to create that feud beforehand. So I think we'll get an encounter before then, but I think the match will be at WrestleMania. So I'm gonna
Oh,
sell it.
what a main event that would be! My gosh, Jeff, they'd blow the roof off.
Well,
Well, there is no roof in Philly, but they would blow whatever.
let me ask you about this, Joe, because obviously if we're talking about this, then the odd man out is Cody Rhodes, right?
Correct.
So let me ask you about this. What better way to do this than to have Cody Rhodes win the flipping Royal Rumble
Mm.
and make it a triple threat main event?
Oh man, somebody in the chat just said triple threat. Little Silver said that. Yeah,
There you
dude.
go.
Could you imagine those three names in a triple threat match? And if you that, yeah, I mean, listen, and if you would have Roman lose, he doesn't really look bad because it's a triple threat. So anyone could lose and not, you know what I'm saying? So those, yeah, oh my God, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be freaking amazing. Tazzy's here. What's up, man? It's an insider's
Tazzy.
party, baby. Yeah, man, that would be tremendous. Yeah, that would be awesome. My God, those three names on the marquee. Philadelphia will be so lucky. Oh, so good. They're already planting seeds with Heyman and Solo. Who gave the order? They
Mhm.
are. They are. I mean, I think it's listen, everybody knows that people are kind of saying the storyline is getting bland. The storyline is changing. Jay's out of the picture now. And now you have Jimmy and Solo, who are just they're more nasty and more dangerous than when Roman's been there. So the story is just changing. It's not
Joe,
over.
Joe, I gotta ask you this. With the whole thing of who gave the order, I know I brought this up months ago. I don't get credit on things. It's fine. I'm used to it by now. But I said this months ago. What if one of the elders was giving orders? What if that elder is The Rock,
That's
and we get that to play out?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. That would be, I mean, that's it. You look at Paul Heyman when he talked about it, when people are asking him, compare this to baseball, where are you at? Well, we're only in the third inning. Do you not think that they have this all planned out?
Oh,
They,
they do.
they absolutely do. So, and they're not going to let it get stale. Some people are complaining, oh, it's going to get stale if it goes that long. If you start this whole thing now with, like Jeff said, if it goes with this elder stuff and they start involving The Rock in it, I'm not too sure people are going to think it's going to be stale. So yeah, look, I think it's tremendous, and I can't wait to see what's next. But yeah,
Joe, I have another question too, and I don't want us to get bogged down, but I feel like I have to say this because a lot of times people don't think of wrestling this way because of the athletic component involved in it. But you think about your favorite television show, and I think about one of mine, Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. I go back periodically now and I watch all the way through. But there were times in certain seasons where the show just started dragging a little
Mhm.
bit. and it was like, okay, all right, we've been on this story, we've been on this part of the story for a while, and then all of a sudden they give me a little wrinkle, or they give me a conversation or something that happened a season and a half ago that's now relevant in the later parts of season 3 going into season 4. Okay, now I'm starting to pick things up. They've had this thing planned all along. So I think people have to start thinking about it in that regard, because this is one of those stories, and I know that we've all like hyped it up and talked about how historically great it is, but I think we have to start looking at it as this is basically television. This is a television show that happens to be a part of a television show.
Yeah.
It's its own separate entity
Yep.
at this point.
Yeah. Hey, great point. Let's see. Like Walking Dead, any serialized show. I mean,
Yeah.
you're for any show that's going to last a long time, right? For years and years and years, you're going to have to take twists and turns. You're going to have to give people any show. I mean, I'm a sci-fi guy, so I've seen, Star Trek's, right? The Star Trek Next Generation went for how many years? They have to do twists and turns, or they're going to lose their audience. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over. You introduce new characters, you introduce new plot lines. You have to do that. Any long-lasting show has to do that. Or else it's just not going to last. So, and that's what they're doing. They're plotting it out. They know how they're going to go. And when Heyman said third inning, it was probably, everyone's like, get out of here. There's no way. This is going to get stale. That's not going to happen. They don't have 6 more innings to go. I would bet you that they probably do. And I already mentioned, I really seriously don't think that Roman's going to drop that title until he takes out Hulk Hogan's record. Plain and simple. Hulk Hogan to the WWE and maybe even to the new company. His record might be a little bit of a kind of a stain now to them. So they may want to just wipe that away. And what better way to do it than have Roman Reigns to beat that record? So I would not be at all surprised if Roman Reigns continues with this title for a while, at least until that happens next year at some point. So, yeah, very, very, very interesting. But yeah, I agree with all the points. All right, Jeff, what's our second topic?
All right, next topic up. Oh boy, got to bring up the mustachio villain again. This question actually came from Deanna.
Okay.
So I got to give her a shout out.
Nice.
But
Thank you for doing that.
If Vince McMahon is forced out of WWE, he will start another wrestling company. Sell or no sell?
Wow, that's an interesting question, and thanks, Deanna, for doing that. Yeah, you guys can all do this. If you ever want to get something like this on our show, certainly comment on the video and give us ideas, because sometimes we run out. But yeah, definitely get that out there. I'm going to, and for me, the way I look at this, I'm no selling it. But the reason I'm not going to no sell it is because at his age, I think it would just be, and with the health concerns and stuff, I think it would just be a little bit too difficult. Unless he got people that were under him and stuff like that all set up and everything to run it. Then I could see, okay, maybe out of spite, he might do that. Now, give me Vince McMahon about maybe 30 years ago or so. Yes. 100%. Yes. I could have definitely seen it, but I think it would just be a very big undertaking for him to do unless he involved his family somehow. So unless maybe, because remember, Stephanie doesn't own any shares or anything anymore, I don't believe, of WWE. She backed out of it. So unless maybe he involved her, maybe he involved Shane in some way, maybe that. But I kind of, no, like I said, being that he's the age he is and he's got the, the stuff going on with the health and stuff issues, I just think he's past that point. So see wrestling says sell. He'll be bored of retirement in 3 hours. And that's a great point too. That's a great point too. So you can never put anything past the dude. I mean, he came out and said he wants to live to be 120.
Yeah.
Just recently came out and said he wants to live to be 120.
And has a plan for it.
has a plan for. I'm curious. Is he in talks with Ozzy Osbourne and Keith Richards to get a blood transfusion? Is he already setting up maybe a cryogenic chamber that he's going to go and lay in for? Once he hits 100, going to go take a snooze in the cryogenic chamber for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and then come back out and I'm back. Is that what is that the plan? He's a billionaire, so billionaires can do billionaire things, and maybe they might do some funky stuff like that. So but yeah, no, I've got to no sell it. I just think that barring some kind of a reappearance, or maybe I don't know, Jeff, maybe he's going to put his consciousness into a robot come back as a Vince spot or something like that. I just don't see it.
Since the Simpsons get so much right with their predictions and forecasts, you remember the episode where they had no, that was Futurama.
Barry Monkey just said it.
There you go. Yeah, but Simpsons too, because they're always on stuff. But
oh yeah,
I was thinking about this, and the only reason I'm not going to sell it is because of Vince's age. I think if he was 10 years younger, not even 20, I think 10 years younger, he would. But I think because of where he is with his health, with his age, I don't see it happening. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at C's comment here.
You can see up there, you've seen Rick Boog's comments. He believes Vince leaving originally is what killed his WWE career. There will be a ton of wrestlers who trust and respect Vince that will work for him. Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I don't doubt. Listen, the people I listen to Busted Open almost on a daily basis. Bully Ray speaks outrageously high of him, and so does Mark Henry. They do. They say that they would not have had anywhere near of a career if it weren't for him. So, and I'm not, listen, we make fun of him and stuff, yes, but look, he was tough, he was ruthless, he was a businessman, but he was also, a lot of these wrestlers say that they would not be where they were without him. So there's no doubt. I mean, he knew what he's doing.
He changed wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, regardless of what you think of him as a person, the accomplishment is that he really changed wrestling. And ultimately he made wrestling global, and created stars that, I mean, you can't understate what he did,
right.
at all.
Let's face it. Wrestling wouldn't be what it is today.
Right.
Yeah. So nothing of it would exist. There would be no AEW. There would be no Impact TNA. There would be none of that without the things that he did in wrestling. So absolutely. And I'm not condoning anything he does. I'm not saying he's a great person.
No.
But what he did in wrestling, that's kind of undisputable. So, all right, Jeff, what's our last sell or no sell?
All right. This one might be a little controversial for us Impact fans. We will have a new Knockouts champion at Bound for Glory.
Oh, boy. I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier about that comment of Mickie James looking up at that title. I mean, does Mickie want one more run? And would it be that she would take out Trinity? Man, I kind of don't think so. I think more with Mickie, if they're going to have that, right? If Mickie does end up getting in that match with Trinity at Bound for Glory, I would say no, not recently, because I would say she'll put her over even more. So I would think maybe Mickie, if this is kind of a last run thing for her, that maybe she would put over Trinity even more than she already is. I'm going to no sell it because I think Bound for Glory is a little bit too soon. I mean, she's certainly not going to be champion forever. So I know a lot of people like to go by contract terms and stuff like that. How long is she signed for and stuff like that? I don't think she's going to carry the title, for 2 years. I think that someone will take her out. People are saying Jordynne Grace could certainly be. Jordynne is getting a very big push now that she's back. And listen, the beauty of Impact Wrestling is that there are so many amazing knockouts there that it could be almost anyone that could come out of that group. Just so many amazing names. Tasha Steele's being one who just recently returned. Deonna Purrazzo, always a name that is up there. Giselle Shaw, who's an incredible performer. The list goes on and on. There are just so many amazing knockouts there. But I don't think it'll be Bound for Glory. I think that's a little too soon. If the Mickey thing comes to a head, and we may see that on Thursday, you might see Trinity come down and say, hey, Mickey, I kind of saw that picture that with you looking up at my title. What's that all about? And that's where it may start. And then you may get that match. But I do not think that Mickey James will beat her, especially not in that Bound for Glory. Tassie said, Killer Kelly. Yes. Look, any of them could be involved in that. And Masha Slamovich, Killer Kelly, any of them. And it would be an amazing matches. So, Jeff, what say you?
I'm gonna no sell it because I do think that Trinity holds on to it for a little bit, but I'm gonna add a name to the match that Lil Silver threw out there.
What?
I'm gonna add Deonna Purrazzo, and we get a four knockout match for the title.
Okay.
I think she's just going to have enough to beat Jordan Grace. But I think this is going to be the start of the conclusion of what we wanted to see between Deonna and Mickey.
Okay.
That's my belief. So
okay.
But I think she holds on to it at least until Hard to Kill. I think.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I wouldn't mind that at all either. Anything that involves Deonna Purrazzo and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know. Mickey, of course, Nick Aldis is working for WWE behind the scenes now. So, Mickey may be wrapping up her run with Impact Wrestling. And like I said, a lot of the contracts tend to come to a close after Bound for Glory. And we don't know what kind of a contract Mickey was on. So if this is going to be the lead in to her kind of passing the torch to Trinity, then I could certainly see that. All right, well, that is our segment, sell or no sell. Like Jeff said, we were saying earlier, Deonna contributed to this, and thank you to her. If any of you have one of these topics, an either or type of thing that you would like us to discuss on this segment, please comment on this video below and let us know what you'd like to hear in this segment, because we're always about interactive with you guys. So give us a comment. Let us know if you have these. You can also send it to our DMs on Twitter if you want. But yeah, if you have any ideas about a sell or no sell topic, we could certainly do that on our next show. So definitely let us know. All right. We are, I believe, headed to favorite moments of the week.
Well, we got one thing we got to chat about before that. Our little late edition and what to watch for.
Oh, yes. Got
a little late edition to what to watch for.
That's true. We kind of look ahead to see what is coming up. Yep.
Yeah, so we've got Wrestle Dream coming up next Sunday for AEW.
That is true. We have a pay-per-view for AEW coming up. I like that graphic. It's very cool. It kind of almost looks like a Dune type, almost also kind of like a horror movie type thing. Yeah. So I kind of dig it. Kind of like how it looks. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting pay-per-view. So it's, of course, October 1st. It's coming out of Seattle, Washington. But some of these matches, man, the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. And this is a tribute actually to Antonio Inoki, who is the founder of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That is the reason why they're having this. And listen to the matches here. I mean, big, huge names. Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. FTR, of course, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, the champs, going up against Aussie Open. They're amazing. We've seen them a bunch of times on Impact. Better Than You, Baby, which of course is Adam Cole and MJF versus the Righteous Vincent and Dutch. That's going to be awesome. That's the tag team match for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. The Aussie Open FTR was for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. Then we've got Chris Jericho and the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, versus the Don Callis family, which is Konosuke Takashita, Sammy Guevara, and Will Ospreay with Don Callis, which that's an all-star six-man tag. Christian Cage versus Darby Allin in 2 out of 3 falls for the AEW TNT Championship. That, of course, Christian Cage just basically got.
Let's be honest. Christian Cage has had that thing since the beginning.
It was always his, right?
It was always his.
He pretty much pointed that out. He was carrying it around all the time anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it was his.
Yeah, it was always his, right? Eddie Kingston versus Katsuyori Shibata. That is a singles match for the ROH World Championship and Strong Openweight Championship, both held by Eddie Kingston. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart with Brody King, singles match for the AEW TBS Championship. And then finally, the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, of course, versus the Guns, Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn versus the Lucha Brothers, Ray Phoenix and Penta versus Orange Cassidy and Hook. That is 4-way tag match for the future AEW World Tag Team Championship match. So that is the card for that show. So a lot of all-star stuff on that show. A lot of big names as well. Should be good stuff. I don't know the details as far as the pay or how much they're charging for it. I imagine it's going to be through Bleacher. Usually their pay-per-views are $65-$70. I'm not 100% sure. Sometimes when they're big events, they do have them in Cinemarks and stuff where you can go to the theater and watch it and be comfortable and get popcorn. And they're usually sometimes a little bit cheaper to go and check those out. So if you're an AEW fan, I'm sure they're going to be building up to this now this coming week on all of their shows. So pretty exciting, Jeff. A lot of good matchups on there.
Yeah, some dream matchups. But you know what? Tazzy earned a giggity.
He
so
did.
I got to play that.
I saw it.
He earned a giggity. So
Yep.
Yeah, I had to play that. But yeah, some great matchups. I'll be honest with you. I struggle to pay what you have to pay for pay-per-views. So
yeah, man, they're
expensive. Hoping and praying that the Max thing works out because I'll be watching all of the pay-per-views then.
Yeah, I would check them out too.
Yeah.
I can't see spending. Man, dude, $65-$70 is a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a show. I get their shows are long, but it's a lot of money to pay. And yeah, I have Max, so I certainly would tune in for sure. I would check the shows out.
Derek, you get a giggity too.
Giggity.
There you go. Starting all that stuff. There you go. Good stuff. All right. So now we're going to move on to our favorite moments of the week. Play along in the chat, please. You guys let us know what were your top 3 moments of the week in wrestling for this past week. Everybody's going to have a different answer, and any answer is a perfect one. It doesn't have to be all the same as everybody else's. You let us know which things really made you mark out this past week in pro wrestling. We're going to go 3. We're going to go 2. We're going to go 1. So let's start with number 3. You guys start with your number 3, and we'll read them out. Jeff, your number 3 moment of the week in wrestling.
My number 3 moment of the week has to be seeing Shark Boy.
Oh my gosh.
Like that for me was amazing. So
awesome.
That's my number 3. Seeing Shark Boy, getting the crowd involved, getting a shell from everybody. So yeah. And honestly, that whole match that started out with Kenny King versus Eric Young that turned into however many people got involved in the end when we got America's Most Wanted. That whole thing was crazy, but Shark Boy made it. So that's my number 3.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh man, there were so many moments this past week. I don't even know if this was this past week because I lose track sometimes, but I'm going to go with this could have been last week too, but we couldn't do our show, so I don't care. But I'm going to go with the return of Nia Jax. I thought that was amazing. I didn't expect it. Didn't see it coming. Of course, that was a match, of course, with Rhea Ripley. Oh my gosh. God, who was she wrestling? Gonzalez. Yes.
Raquel.
Yes, Raquel. Thank you. But yeah, did not see that coming. I know there were rumors out about her coming back. I know there's so many people. She gets such a bad rap. So many people are out there, and they're still saying all this stuff about her. Oh my God, she botched this thing, which I hate. I absolutely hate that word. But yeah, I think it's great seeing her back. She's listen, no matter when she comes, she's a threat. She's a monster in that ring. And I just love that she just came in, beat up everybody, and basically just like literally sat on Rhea Ripley at the end of that. So I think it was cool to see her back. Anytime a wrestler returns, no matter who it is, and I'm sorry, like her, you don't, it's cool. She's a big name. And I actually enjoyed seeing her come back. So that was one of my favorite moments of the week. Let me see what people have, or they're saying if it wasn't this week, it was the week before, whatever. Let's see. We've got Solo jumping off and destroying AJ Styles. Yeah, there was a lot of flair with that, right? A lot of blowing up stuff and everything like that. They really laid that on. Asuka versus Io on SmackDown. Great match. Yeah, it was really cool. I didn't like necessarily the end of it, but I'm not really surprised by it. It's going to make for future feuds. So wasn't well surprised by the end. Solo laying out Cena, says Nathan, the wrestling guy. 3 Feast or Fire results revealed. Ilja versus Wes Lee, says Bonkers. The opening of Feast or Fire cases. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Cody coming out to save Jay from the Judgment Day is his number 3 for Dylan. For John G, it's SLO and Jimmy attack John and AJ. Brandon says, tough for me this week as far as top 3 because I was at a high school game this past Friday. Eddie Kingston winning the ROH championship. Yeah, I like Eddie, man. Eddie's a fun guy to watch. Did you see the John Moxley box? No, I don't like that word. Brandon, use something else. Listen, that was a very dangerous thing. And the only thing I'll say about that is this. I think that was a referee issue. I think that they have had those issues in AEW before, and I think somebody really needs to look into that because someone is going to get very critically hurt. That's all I'm going to say about that. Because you could see watching that how it looked. Did not look good, and thankfully he's okay. But that is really on the referee. The referee should be the one to make that call and to say, okay, get over there and pin that man. Pin him now. We're not going on any further. And even if, because people are saying that, they heard Moxley say, one more, give me one more. No. You don't listen to him at that point. You override it and you say, no, we're going home. We're getting this done. So, but please don't, try not to refer to it as that. I really can't stand that word. You don't understand, and I think a lot of us don't understand what these wrestlers do and what they go through to do it. I know Jeff does, but a lot of people who've never been around a wrestling ring don't. And that's why I can't stand that word. I think it's a very lousy word to use. They do things in the ring that are absolutely tremendously hard to do. And to pull them off in itself, in a lot of these moves, is almost a miracle. But it takes a lot and a ton of work. If something doesn't exactly go right, and there's an inch or two, and please, Brandon, I'm not taking this out on you. I hate that word being used. But if something just is off for a fraction of an inch or a little bit, something can happen. And so I think you kind of got to understand how much work goes into this. It's okay, Brandon. Again, I'm not taking it out on you at all. But I just hate that. It just grinds my gears. Jeff, I'm sure you know that it probably does with you too, because you've got that background.
Yeah. And I'm gonna be nice about it, and this is not directed towards anyone watching or Brandon. I don't want you to think I'm coming at you.
No, it's Brandon. It's not you. It's okay. We're not. Yeah, we're just voicing an opinion.
But the one thing that I'll say is this, and a lot of people tend to forget this, but the men and women that wrestle that we watch on our television screens, our tablets, our phones, whatever, they're human beings.
Right.
Human beings, including all of us, make mistakes every single day.
Yep.
If somebody followed us around
That's a great
at our
point.
jobs and
Yep.
said, "Oh man, Jeff botched that social media post today. He really botched that video edit right there." I'd hear that all the time, and it would make me feel kind of crappy about myself.
Yep.
So, and I think the same thing can be said about wrestlers. Um, they're human beings. They're gonna mess up. They're gonna make mistakes. So I just think we have to be mindful of that when we watch things. We're not going to get perfect performances. I mean,
Yep.
you think about sports like gymnastics and different things of that nature, where they practice and practice and practice over and over again for this one routine for this like 60 to 90-second time
Yep.
at an Olympic trial or something like that. They're not always perfect. So just keep those things in mind when we're watching human beings attempt to do things on live television or record it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Got to take into consideration how hard that is. How hard do you think that is to not hit someone uh, and trying hard not to do that in some of these aerial things that they do? It's incredibly hard. Incredibly hard. Alexa Bliss Gamer, I'm not sure what strike you're referring to. The actors thing, if that's what you're talking about, is absolutely not over. They're making some progress, but there is no end to it. So that is not true. No, that's not true. All right. On to number 2, Jeff. What's your
Number
favorite number
two.
2 favorite moment of the week?
Number two is kind of a sad moment, but it's I feel like it's a moment that this person has earned in terms of getting a little bit of a spotlight, and that's the results of the Feast or Fired. And there were a lot of things that came out of that. We see Moose getting that title
Future title
shot.
shot.
We see ABC getting that tag team title shot at some point.
Mhm.
Crazy Steve,
That's big.
digital media shot. So, I mean, Yuya has been great in Impact. Seeing the stuff that he did with Joe Hendry was really fun.
Yep.
I was hoping that we get to see more of that. They do continue it this week and do kind of a celebration or a goodbye, kind of celebration for Yuya. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed his run in Impact if it's coming to an end.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. Oh man. Number 2 for me was seeing Awesome Kong in a ring again, man. Man, it really took me back to the first time I saw her come into a ring, and thinking like, oh my gosh, like what is this? She is just gonna annihilate everyone, and my goodness, what a force she was. And I think it was wonderful to see her get into a ring and do what she did in that little amount of time that she came back. But it was so great to see her. I love I'm such a big nostalgia guy, and I love seeing them go back and bring older wrestlers back in and let them still do their thing. People chanting her name and the timing of that, the way they did that, and had her come in and clean house was perfect. And it was so cool to just see her again, and really brought back memories of me watching, of course, old TNA, old Impact stuff back in the day. So seeing Awesome Kong in a ring was absolutely tremendous, and absolutely loved it. All right, let's see what you got for number 2s out here. We've got Io versus Oscar match. Io's jump kicked Oscar off the ropes. Feast or Fired, says Dylan. Tony Storm's new black and white entrance is bonus, baby. The Knockouts main event on Impact 1000, night 2. Ilja destroying Dominic Mysterio in NXT. Rock appearing on SmackDown. Oh my God, Barry, what is your number 1? Yuya getting the fired case. I look forward to the celebration for him. Yuya was on a sabbatical from New Japan. He was never signed to Impact. Yeah. Let's see. Number 2, Solo doing a Jeff Hardy high flying spot onto AJ Styles like Jeff Hardy did to Randy Orton back in the day. My number 2 is the Knockouts match, Impact 1000 Night 2. All right. It's that time. It's time for the number 1 favorite moment of the week. I had to put a 1 and 1A because I couldn't choose just one. So, Jeff, we want to start us out. What's your number 1 of this past week?
Yeah, so my number 1 this week, pretty simple. Whether it happened this week or the week before, it's The Rock returning.
Oh, man.
I mean, that was such a huge moment. And yeah, I mean, he's still got it. He's still got the crowd in the palm of his hand. So yeah, I mean, seeing him back in a WWE ring in 2023, didn't think it was going to happen like that, but it did. So yeah, that was my moment.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, when you heard that silence and if you smell what the, oh, yeah, tremendous. That's my one as well. That was an easy pick for me. Listen, I have a Brahma Bull T-shirt still from when Rock had that out. I still own it. I was just a huge fan of what he did in so many WrestleManias that he was in. That he, the promos he cut. Just, oh gosh. Seeing him there was just absolutely tremendous. And my 1A is the Impact Knockouts match as well. The Impact 1000 Knockouts match was just so well done. The past and the present mix and the things that they did in that match was just outstanding. And it really, really showed off why Impact Wrestling is so behind that Knockouts division and what they do. So was absolutely wonderful of a match. And of course, listen, when we get returns like Tasha Steelz and we get a Mickey James return, of course I'm going to be behind it. So yeah, that was my 2 favorite moments of the week, a 1 and 1A. Let's see what we got from you guys. Knockouts main event as a whole. That match was great to see new and old familiar faces. Best match of the night, says Little Silver. Barry says awesome Kong destroying the annoying Giselle Shaw. Alexa Lewis Gamer says Butch versus Tyler Bate. Swackvan says number 1 was The Rock. Bonus Baby says Impact 1000, the whole show, but specifically the Knockouts bookending the whole deal. Nathan says number 1 moment of the week, Eddie Kingston winning the ROH World Championship at AEW Grand Slam. Honorable mention, deactivating X. Oh, there you go. Okay. All right. Hey, man, nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong with doing that, man. Get away from that stuff sometimes. James Grant says number 1A was Becky Lynch winning the NXT Women's title. I know it was that. It's all good. It's all good. We don't care about timing. And 1B, The Rock being back. Bonker says number 1A, the knockout match B, Butch and Tyler Bate. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Very cool. See, everybody's got different stuff, and I like it. It's just one way to look back and see what we liked about this past week. So awesome. Very, very cool. All right. Well, I think we're coming to the end here. We've got, let's see. We're coming to the end. I mean, going forward, Jeff, it's pretty exciting, right? I mean, we've got this. We're kind of an unknown about what's going on with John Cena in WWE and what he's going to do now to retaliate. What is it going to be? LA Knight and John Cena? That'd be an amazing duo. If LA Knight can make it, is The Rock going to somehow get involved? We have all that stuff going on there. The Jey Uso stuff on Raw. I love how they're doing all that. People don't trust him. Kevin Owens looks like he may be turning heel again at some point, which is, listen, he's good at that. What's going to come with Sami Zayn and that whole stuff, the Judgment Day thing. WWE's got a lot of cool stuff going on. AEW's headed toward a pay-per-view and all of that stuff and those great matches that they have at that pay-per-view coming up. Some good stuff there. NXT is just killing it too.
And they have No Mercy coming up Saturday. I forgot to add that into what to watch for, but
I shout that out too. Yeah, Tazzy obviously will be doing that on his channel, so make sure that you join him for everything NXT. Tazzy is kind of switching his focus a little bit to the NXT stuff, which of course he's always done. But yeah, definitely check him out for that. And yeah, that's coming. When is that? Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Saturday. Okay, so there you go. So NXT's got a pay-per-view this Saturday too. So one on Saturday and one is the AEW Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday. So one Saturday, one Sunday. So busy weekend for that. And then, of course, what's coming up next, of course, with Impact and how they're going to go towards their next pay-per-view and Bound for Glory. So, all right, guys. Well, Tazzy said, I will actually be there. There you go. There you go. Yeah. It's getting, baseball's coming to the end. Tazzy's down to the nitty gritty here with the baseball season. Only a few games left to go. So there you go. Yeah. So I think we're gonna end it. I think we're gonna call it here. So again, thank you for coming out for this show. We really, really appreciate it. We know it's late on a Sunday night. A lot of you people are joining us from overseas. It's very late. And thank you for coming out. We really, really appreciate that. We love doing this show. It's one of our favorite things to do. And we hope you enjoyed listening to us talk about all of the stuff that happened over the week in wrestling. So again, if you're not subscribed to our channel, please make sure that you do. Also, please make sure that you like this video tonight also before you go. It helps us out big time on the YouTube. So make sure that you drop a like on the stream for us. Also hit that notification bell to be notified about when we are having that future content. And as you heard Jeff say earlier, make sure to tune in on Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. because Jeff, of course, and Jody will be discussing what is happening, of course, with the show. So make sure to join them for that. They'll be talking about some changes and stuff that are coming up, of course, for Jody's show going forward. So join them on Tuesday at 6 for that. And then we will be back for Impact Wrestling on Thursday. So 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. And that is a follow-up to that Impact 1000 show and a look forward, of course, and see what's going to happen at Bound for Glory, which isn't that far away. It's in October. So it's less than probably 3 weeks or so away before that's here. So a lot of stuff going on. My NFL picks sucked eggs this week. Yeah. Talking about the 70-point Miami debacle. Yeah, that was insane.
Man.
Tazzy says no more home games. Woo! All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate you. And again, like I said, if you have a thing for sell or no sell, please drop it in the comments. Let it in the comments below. We will certainly take a look at that, and we will use them if we can. And yes. Have a great rest of your Sunday night. If you're in an area where this storm is hitting, please stay safe out there. Oh, definitely, please be kind to one another. And again, like I said, do that little bit of homework for me and go out and shout out a wrestler that you like and say thank you to them. Just shout them out. Just at them on the socials and say, hey, thanks for what you do. We really appreciate it. And I'm a big fan of what you do. So do that. I think it's a really cool gesture to do. So have a great one, guys. Take care. Be kind to one another. And hopefully we will see you all for our next show, which will be Tuesday at 6. Have a good one, guys. Good night, and we'll talk to you soon.